It's so funny. I was talking to some of the cast about just how leading the title can be alone. Nine bodies in a Mexican morgue can be so many things too. So I guess from what Eric said, that was some of the like part of your sale too. Like you just kind of came up with a title, and that's the one that you're like this explains it. This one delivers.
I'll tell you the truth. When I first pitched this idea to a room full of executives to try and sell it, it was called, I think, The Last Survivor was the title of the show. And I'm standing outside the door, and I thought to myself, that title just doesn't cut it. It's not. This show is bigger. It's more lurid. It's more surprising. It's more original. It's got a really shock ending. It needs to have a title that warns the audience that they're in for it's like a sort of a ride in an amusement park. You've got to have that title above the door, so when you walk in, you know you're really going to have the ride of your life. And so I stepped into the room and I said, "Hi guys, I'm here to talk about nine bodies in a Mexican morgue." And everybody around the table smiled. And nobody can quite talk about the show without a little smile in it. And although it is violent and dark and twisty, I think it has got a sort of a humorous edge to it too. And so the title was a perfect fit for me.
Now, of course, as someone who has delivered many murder mysteries, whether it's film or TV wise as well, what is it that you kind of wanted to bring to this one? Of course, we have our as you unveil each character and we start to understand who they are, and you throw mystery at each one of them. What did you want to do with this story that kind of excited you?
Well, I think first of all, I wanted to do something which is a new genre. I'm very well known for sort of quite genteel English murder mysteries set in villages with old ladies on bicycles and sort of bodies in libraries and things. But I wanted to say
Right.
there's more to me than that. I wanted to get away from cozy crime. I wanted to get into a more violent, a more dark, and a more sort of just a scary atmosphere. And I wanted to do something that had never been done before as well. The who, as in who done it, is interesting, and you might or you might not guess it, and it's fun. But the why of why these murders are happening and what is going on here, I think is such a surprise. It's something I don't think anybody has ever thought up. And to me, as a writer, I've been writing for a very long time. Thinking up new ideas, new surprises is what motivates me, and I hope with this show I've done it.
I think so too. I've had a lot of fun with the first couple episodes. I don't want to go too far into it because I don't want to say something out of turn myself. I will say though, as somebody who my parents and I definitely would watch Acorn or BritBox, so we've seen a lot of the shows too, and it always makes me laugh. Like if there was like a heat map based upon small little hamlets and villages with all the murders and things happen there. Like, did you ever discuss that when you were creating those kind of shows yourself?
I worked on a show called Midsummer Murders. It's been going now for something like 30 odd years or more. And, there can't be, in fact, I stopped writing it myself. I always say that after I wrote the first 7 episodes, and then I stopped because there was nobody left in Midsummer to murder. And that sense of, who would have lived in Oxford when Morse was around because of the number of bodies. But it doesn't seem to matter. It doesn't get in the way. And again, what is great about this new show of mine is that it's not a village, it's not a town, it's the middle of the biggest middle of nowhere you could hope to be, the Mexican rainforest, and there is nothing anywhere, and that makes a big difference. That there isn't the local pub to go in and have a drink and talk about who got killed last night, or a local police station to send somebody around to ask questions. It is just these poor people stuck on their own trying to work out what is happening before they're the next victim.
You also talk about using time as a way to kind of like misdirect us a little bit as well as we begin in the future and go backwards and kind of jump through each day and each person who's alive too. What was the thought process and how you wanted to kind of like unveil all these things in their own timely manner?
Because I always thought that this show, and if we do a sequel to it, which we might well do, it of course depends how well this first season goes down. But I always thought to myself, this was an interesting idea. But this is a show about bodies in a morgue, and then telling the story of how they got there. So you start at the end and work out the events that took place that produced this final result. Always, and the idea would be always with a twist, always with a surprise, and that was how I always saw it. it does get a little bit complicated, but we do this in the show with lots of captions to keep saying this is day one, this is day two, this is day three. And I don't know whose idea it was. I think it was Brian O'Malley, our director, who came up with the idea of having those little figures you get on an aircraft where the toilet, where the toilet is engaged or not engaged. Those little figures that light up. So every time someone gets killed, one of those things lights up and it tells you how many have gone and how many are left. And I love that. I love all that sort of fact that, you are really guided through this. You don't have to think, oh, what day is this and what's happening? You're told all along.
Very cool. Well, very excited for this, and we'll definitely talk about it with everybody. I hope everyone in your world is happy and healthy. Be good.
And you too, Derek. Many thanks.